Hi everyone, how you going? Thanks for joining me tonight and jumping on. I'll just give everyone a few minutes to catch up with the lives and get going. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Oh, there you are. Hey Jodie, how are you, beautiful? Hey Abby, gorgeous. Lovely to see you. And thanks for all the love coming up. Oh, Shez. Cool. Hi guys. Great to have you all here. I'm hoping that this is all going to go smoothly. We have been almost without power today, so I am sitting here under camping lights at the moment. Seems to look all right. So if everything goes dark, I think we should be okay and I'll be able to keep going. Oh, thanks, Jodie. Thanks, beautiful. How is everyone? How's everyone going? I hope you've all had a great day. So I'm going to talk about 4 different points of giving yourself permission tonight. And they are going to be all around you putting yourself first to do the things to help you live a life of well-being and happiness and inner strength and inner peace. And it's not always easy to achieve, I know that, but with lots of work and simple little things. It doesn't have to be overcomplicated, it can be simple little things. So I'm going to talk about giving yourself permission to come first and put your own well-being first. I'm going to talk about giving yourself permission to set boundaries, and that's with other people as well as within yourself. And it might not be what you think, so we'll see how you feel about it when we get there. And give yourself permission to surrender and let go. We've got lots going on at the moment and we can't control a lot of it, so we've just got to go with it, don't we? And then the 4th one will be give yourself permission to thrive. You know, this can be a great time to step into your authenticity and your power, and who knows where this may take you, this strange time that we have at the moment that we're all trying to understand and figure out what it means for us as we all move forward. So, who am I? Well, I'm Ali, obviously. I'm coming to you tonight from the beautiful Adelaide in South Australia. I am a wife to the amazing Phil, a second time around. We've been married for 5 years. I am a mum and stepmum to 6 kids. We have 3 boys and 3 girls, ranging in ages from 22 down to 16, the youngest. We've got 2 left at school. We've been together for 9 years and had an amazing time, interesting time raising those 6 kids together, but it's always a great adventure and we're very lucky. We've got a really lovely blended Brady bunch together. And hi guys, hi everyone, lovely to see you here. So I live and breathe my own well-being. When I told my husband the other day that I was doing a session on giving yourself permission and coming first, he almost fell on the floor laughing because that's what I do all the time. And I have done that for a long time, but there's a very big difference. I've always been very good at doing what I wanted to do, but there's a very big difference between doing the things that you want to do and doing the things that help you feel good. So it took me, a lot of years of working on myself to be able to figure that one out. Self-care is really necessary right now for all of us. We're in new circumstances. Many of us have lost our jobs. I'm okay, thankfully, but my husband, he lost his work, so we're not unaffected as well. Hi guys. Yeah, Georgia, amen. Absolutely. It's really, really important right now to be looking after ourselves more than ever, and especially, we're home with our families and our loved ones in confined spaces. Sometimes we don't have the choice to be able to just go off and do what we want to do, so things look quite different. It's one thing to choose to rest, it's quite another to be forced to. And the reason that I ended up really launching into my own well-being is because 5 years ago, I was diagnosed with breast cancer and went through the full gamut of chemo, surgery. I lost a boob, radiotherapy, lost my hair from everywhere. I had 6 surgeries. Hi, Lou. And, went through quite the rigmarole. When I was 16, or when I was 12, actually, my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. And not long after, so was my grandmother, her mother. And when I was 16, they both passed away. I was in my year 12 at school, and, there was a bit of a path, a trajectory, if you like, for many years after that due to trauma and not looking after myself. So I've had lots of things happen along the way, and I thought I knew my stuff. I've been working on myself for a long time. I thought I knew my stuff. Oh, thanks, Natasha. It's my pleasure. Thought I knew my stuff, and then I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Phil and I had been married for 6 months, and we had to sit the kids down and tell them. So my kids especially thought that I probably wasn't going to make it through because of my family history. So I had to launch myself into owning my well-being and looking after myself first, putting myself first. And it's not about being selfish. It's about knowing what you need and doing it. At the moment, we are all feeling a bit, thanks, Jodie. Hi, Julian. At the moment, we're all feeling a bit confused, bewildered. Some of us don't know what comes next. We're a bit confused. Humans need meaning. Our brains need logic. We need to be able to make sense of things to feel safe, secure, like we know what direction we're going. Humans need to know what's happening to feel safe. If you are like me and have been through massive and many traumas in your life, you may be predisposed to a heightened response to stress. So that's right, Rachel, absolutely. Oh, cuz, hey. If you've been through adversity, you may have a predisposed heightened response to stress, which means that you may have some extra layers on top of normal life stuff. You may have some extra heightened emotions in response to all of this that's going on. This is new information for all of us, and we're relying on the big wigs to tell us what's happening. When we create meaning in our lives, when we see and hear and touch and taste and feel things, it connects in our brain with what it registers as experiencing before, which is what meaning is. So at the moment, this is new information that we are not familiar with, and we don't know how to make sense of it yet because it doesn't attach to any memory that we've had previously. We've never seen this in our lifetime, and my father is 88 years old. He never went to war, but I can't even remember him ever telling me anything about anything like this. We're seeing it all around us. So enough of that, because I try not to sit in that too much. So put your hands up or give me a thumbs up for those of you who are already really good at looking after yourself and putting yourself first. Thanks, Marie. How many of you prioritize? Yeah, that's exactly right, Jody. We're not programmed to know how to deal with it. So we're trying to search for ways to figure it out. And we're looking outside at things instead of looking within. So, why aren't we very good sometimes at putting ourselves first? Why did it take me so long to figure out that my happiness and my well-being was in putting myself first? And there's a bit of a theory in that. When we get to about 2 or 3 years old, the psychologist Erickson developed stages, and once we get to about 2 or 3 years old, good afternoon, Rebecca, we are learning about shame and doubt in our lives. And if you think back, to a good part of your childhood, which is how mine was, you're told from about 2 or 3 years old, if you don't share your toys, you're selfish. If you don't share your lolly bag, you're selfish. If you don't share your cake or your Christmas presents or whatever it is, if you don't share, you're selfish. And how many times does that story get reinforced as we go through childhood years, teenage years? We are told over and over and over again that being selfish is wrong and being selfish is bad. I can remember, now my cousin is watching this, and Deb, your mum, my beautiful auntie, told me once when I was a teenager, and I was a young teenager, I think, and she said to me, kids should not be told that they have to share. And at the time, I had absolutely no idea what that meant, and it's only been recently, it's stuck with me all those years, but it's only been recently that I actually understand what that means. And what it means is that it's okay for us to not share everything with other people, because it's okay for us to not end up giving so much of ourselves that it's not appreciated anyway, and we end up so depleted that there's nothing left for everyone else anyway. So we're told, from a really young age that being selfish is wrong. So we get to the stage where we need to be spending time for ourselves, but we feel guilty. We feel guilty because we've been told the story over and over and over again. If you are doing anything for yourself, it is selfish and it is wrong and you are bad. Well, you eat all the chocolate yourself. Yeah. Yeah, I get that. Totally. So it's really necessary to move past that story and know your worth and claim time for yourself. And even the little things are so powerful. It doesn't have to be grand gestures of stuff, like if you're a mum with small children, you don't get to do anything by yourself. And I get that. I had 3 of my own and then inherited another 3. And you don't get to do anything by yourself for many, many, many years. I get that. But you can take moments. You can have moments of peace where you can use them for yourself, and they become super powerful and can make a huge difference in how you feel about yourself. I ended up, after all the trauma that I had been through and ran off the rails in my early 20s, I got to the point where I gave of myself to everyone else. I ended up with such a lack of self-worth that when I looked in the mirror at myself, I actually felt physically ill. And one day I just decided I needed to do something about that, because I was heading down a not very nice path. And I don't know what would have happened if I hadn't turned things around, to be honest, because it was pretty dark. I had, some coping mechanisms, as we all do. When something happens, we have some coping mechanisms that kick in. And some of those coping mechanisms are adaptive, which is helpful, and then they can become maladaptive, which is harmful. So let's take alcohol, for example. When I was in my early 20s, it became a real problem, because when I had a drink at the end of the day, it would help me feel relaxed, which is adaptive because it's helpful. But then prolonged use, self-medicating, blah, 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 it becomes harmful. And, who knows, it's likely that it contributed to my breast cancer journey. But, there's no way of knowing, but it was suggested to me that was highly likely. So it's really important to come up with, coping mechanisms and positive behaviours which is a thing, positive behaviors which help support your happiness, help support your well-being, help support you physically while you might be doing the bigger work, which is not done overnight. While you are doing the bigger work, you are doing these active, positive behaviors that help support you and keep you in a positive frame of mind. And again, can be the simple little things. And then from there, you develop some non-negotiables. And they are the things that you make sure that you do as part of your everyday. You know, self-care is not something that you can do once a week, once every 3 or 4 days. They've got to be really good, positive behaviors and that you put in place every day and that you stick to. And they can be small goals to start with. Meditation absolutely must be something that everybody does. I didn't think that I could ever do that because I couldn't stop what was going on around here. I could never shut my brain up. When I'd go to bed at night, I'd be lying there thinking about everything that had happened during the day or everything that was going to happen tomorrow, and I could not be quiet. And then when I started meditating, I didn't get a result within a week or 2 weeks. So I was like, oh, stuff this. It doesn't work. I'm not doing it anymore. I can't do this. And I let it go for a while. And then should say non-negotiables are a bit wishy-washy. You can make them set in stone. So stick at it with meditation is a practice, but meditation is really powerful. Even after only 8 hours of meditation, you can change your cells. It can help you recover more quickly from stressful situations. It can help your general well-being and general health. So meditation is one thing that everyone needs to be doing. Even if you don't think you can do it, you can. It's just a practice. Like anything, we get better at it as we go. Other little things, that's right, Abby, shower, makeup every day and even if not leaving the house. That's exactly right, little things. My non-negotiable is yoga. Every morning, generally. At the moment, I'm kind of getting out and about because I'm really missing walking at the beach, which is another non-negotiable for me. But I do a yoga class every Saturday morning. Well, not at the moment, unfortunately. But for the last few years, I've been doing a yoga class every Saturday morning. That is my non-negotiable. And even if I don't feel like doing it, I get up and I go and do it anyway because it changes everything for me going into the weekend. And if I've had to miss a week or two or whatever, for whatever reason, hubby will say to me, you need to go to yoga tomorrow. So, I do. I know. And there is a difference. So develop your non-negotiables. So maybe as an activity, after you get off the live tonight or going into the next few days, why don't you write your own self-care plan? You can write a week in advance or, write 4 weeks in advance. And you are more likely to do something if you schedule in the time and write it down. And it can, you write your appointments down. You've got to allow time for your appointments. So why not make time and schedule your time for yourself? Because you need it. You do need it. Whether you think you do or you don't, you do. Your heart needs it. Your head needs it. Your soul needs it. Your being needs it. Your future you needs it. Your family needs it. Anyone who needs anything from you needs you to be putting your well-being first. And then you can do all kinds of amazing things for everyone else in this world when you are feeling amazing. So that's give yourself permission to put your well-being first. Number one priority. Schedule in some self-care activities for the next week or so. And, share with us what you're doing or share your plan so we can see what you're up to. Next thing is give yourself permission to set boundaries. So important. What does that mean? Setting boundaries means what are you willing to or not accept, what you will and won't accept in your life. And setting boundaries can sometimes mean that you need to do that around other people. We all have those people in our lives who would take everything from us if they could. And it's really, really important to set boundaries to preserve your own energy. I've moved away from those people. I have empowered myself. That's exactly right. You are 100% worth it. I've empowered myself to move away from some friendships when I've needed to, because there's just, those friends who contribute to your life, who support you, who are there for you 100%, and they know that you will be there for them 100% as well. And I'm very lucky to have some unbelievably amazing people in my life who I have like that. And I have had to say goodbye to some people because I can't do it anymore. My energy and my health, more than anything, is worth it, isn't it? Our health, our well-being, yes, exactly, Shez. Toxic friendships, they are really hard work. They are really draining. They are sacrificing your well-being and your health. So how do you set boundaries? What does that mean? Well, yes, it's about saying no, but it's, some people we can't get away from. Sometimes it's our own family. And as much as I love and admire my amazing daughter, I have to set very strong boundaries with her. There'll be things like, we live in an instant society now, don't we? We get instant answers. We get instant orders. We get instant deliveries, instant food, instant everything. And everyone has got into the trap of communication being instant as well. So I see my daughter will send me a text message and she'll be asking me a question. And it might be because she wants to go somewhere and do something or whatever. I might not be ready to answer right then and there. And that's my boundary. I will answer that text message when I have a minute to read it and respond. I don't need to respond to that text message just because she's trying to demand an answer from me. Sometimes it can be as simple as that. The little boundaries, again, same as with well-being, those little boundaries are really powerful. Sometimes we need to say no to people. Sometimes you need to set boundaries for yourself. Like, what's your language? What's your internal language? If you suffer from anxiety, do you call it my anxiety? I had a big realization when I was going through my cancer journey. I called it my cancer. Why do I want to take ownership over the disease of cancer? Same as I do suffer from anxiety from times. I don't ever want to call it my anxiety. I call it the anxiety, or the cancer journey that I went through, or the type of cancer that I had, and things like that. Set boundaries within yourself. Check in with your language. What is that? Let me think about it. Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. I say the same. If you want an answer from me in the next 20 seconds, then no, you need to wait, because I'm not giving you an answer. I haven't thought about it, and you can wait, right? So check in with your language and set boundaries for yourself. If you come up with a be the observer of your own language, be the observer of your own thoughts. If you are reacting to other people's behavior, that's about you. How someone else behaves is about them, has nothing to do with you. But if you react to their behavior, that has everything to do with you and the choices that you are making. So maybe you need to have your own boundaries in terms of, okay, I'm just going to take a minute before I react to this situation. I'm going to go and remove myself for a few minutes. I'm going to think about it all, and then I'll come back and I'll respond. Yeah, absolutely, Natasha. Keep a check on your own language. A great book Jody posted in the group yesterday, The 4 Agreements. It is a Bible for me. And The 4 Agreements, the book is written by Don Miguel Ruiz, I think is how it's pronounced. And the 4 agreements are: be impeccable with your word. So don't gossip about other people, and don't talk smack about yourself, which I used to do a lot. If someone pays you a compliment, how do you respond? Do you say thank you? Or do you say, oh, this old thing, oh, I've had it for years, or oh, yeah, it was a hand-me-down, or whatever. So check in with yourself, check in with your own behavior and your own thought process and your own reactions. Self-acceptance, set boundaries for yourself, but demonstrate full self-acceptance. Who you are and where you are right now is 100% perfect. It doesn't matter what someone else says about you. It doesn't matter what someone else thinks about you. You are the only one who ever needs to fully accept yourself. And putting your well-being first and setting boundaries first then takes you to a place of self-acceptance. And Katrina, it is hard. It's not easy. I'm not suggesting for any stretch of the imagination that this is easy. It's practice. It's like meditation that I was referring to before. This is all practice, and this is all, setting these activities and awareness activities in place, so then they do become natural and they do become your normal response. And if someone compliments me, now I can smile, and say thank you. I used to be that person who would put myself down if someone gave me a compliment, and it's really destructive. It's really self-destructive. You're so worth it, You're amazing and you're beautiful and incredible, and embrace it and accept that who you are is good enough. And don't ever be told, and don't ever accept that you aren't good enough, because you are. So that's permission to set boundaries. Maybe as an activity for that, over the next week or so, be the observer of your own thoughts and your own reactions, and write them down. It's a really powerful exercise in creating change. You've got lots of neurological pathways up there. Yeah, exactly, Jody. Used to shudder and put yourself down if complimented. That's right, and many of us do that, be the observer of your thoughts and your reactions and your behaviours over the next week, and write down some notes. It's really powerful to go back and see where you are at, because everything can change from there. It's also a really really powerful thing. Katrina, I was conditioned to not accept compliments. Yeah, and sometimes it can be really hard. There's a beautiful woman watching here tonight. We had a session today, and I said to her, so what does it feel like when someone offers to pay for your lunch? And she said, that's a struggle. I said, yeah, I understand that. I used to be like that. If someone wants to buy you lunch, accept it. It's a gift and you are worth it. And they wouldn't have offered if they didn't think that. So yeah, get good at accepting gifts and compliments and things like that. Give yourself permission to surrender and let go. All the control freaks out there right now are really struggling with everything going on. People have lost their jobs, and I say control freaks because I'm a recovering control freak. I'll first admit it. The more out of control you feel, the more anxious you can feel, and the more reactive you can be, because you don't know what to do. And at the moment, this is well beyond any of our control. And we can just get to the point where we just absolutely don't know what to do. So my motto through all of this is, if you can't do anything, just do something. Oh, hey, that is me. Yeah. If you can't do anything, just do something. If you're a really busy person, and again, I put my hand up here, to all of a sudden now not be busy, it can throw you into a bit of a spin. If, as humans, we need goals to work towards, we need things to be doing, we need to have a sense of achievement to feel accomplished and feel good, about what we're contributing to our life and society and everyone else. So if you can't do anything, just do something. That's exactly right, Katrina. This too shall pass. And shares, yeah, being control freak is so exhausting. Yeah, I know. So before I was diagnosed with breast cancer, I was a control freak about everything. And I was a control freak for many, many, many years. And that comes from being a 12-year-old girl and needing to look after herself. That's a whole different story. But anyway, I would be doing, I'd be screaming at the kids if they hadn't cleaned up their bedrooms. Well, who actually cares if they don't clean their bedroom? Is it a matter of life and death? No. Are they the ones that have to live in the cesspit if they choose to? Yeah, I can choose not to step into that bedroom if I don't want to. And I get the whole thing, cleaning up and paying board and all the rest of it. I'm living it all, trust me, with the 6 kids. Sounds like what can happen when you retire from work. Yeah, oh, totally. So, if you're a busy person and you like to be doing busy things, or you have a really busy, high demand job, and then all of a sudden you've got all this time on your hands and you don't know what to do. If you don't know what to do or you can't do anything, just do something. I, at the moment, have set myself a challenge. I'm doing 14 jobs in 14 days around the house. So I'm kind of nesting. I'm just chucking stuff out. Nothing is safe. If it's not nailed down, look out, because it's probably going to go. And so I'm doing, working through this list of 14 jobs to do, and they're all the things that I don't want to do. They're all the things that make me feel not good because I haven't done them. So it's things like, what have I done? Oh, today I cleaned out the bathroom cupboards and drawers and everything, and it feels great when you get it all done. 6 kids, I have 5, yeah. We're a blended family, Katrina. Oh, Jody, you saw my list. You need to copy it. Yeah. And just something every day, as well as, I've kind of got the cleaning bug now because I'm home and I've got time, and every I don't know, maybe every hour I'm just doing one small little thing. Like we've got a 2-story house. Yesterday, I just vacuumed the stairs when I was going up and down. And, it feels nice walking up the stairs and they're nice and clean. They're just little things. It doesn't have to be difficult things. Shez, you've done too? Cool. And Sherry, you've been doing that too. Yeah, it's great. And don't you feel good when you cross things off your list? I'm a list person. I like to be able to, I'm a visual person as well. So I like to be able to look at the things that I've achieved and feel good about it. So it's okay now to feel, not knowing where you're going and what you're doing, and all the emotion that comes up with that is a totally normal response. And you are totally like everyone else at the moment, and it's absolutely okay to be feeling all of those things. And getting back to self-acceptance, accept where you are, accept those feelings that come up, acknowledge those feelings that come up. But as the saying goes, those feelings that, anxiousness and all the rest of it. Yeah, Katrina set an alarm every hour. Yeah, absolutely. It's okay to for those feelings to be coming up. Don't try and squash them. Just when anxiety comes up for me, and it's a bit heightened at the moment. We've had a few other things going on as well. I feel anxious, and I just, okay, I see you. I know you're there. You're not here to stay. I'm just going to go and do something else and move past this. And you do. You just acknowledge where you're at. Acknowledge if you're feeling anxious or upset, because it's totally normal. Acknowledge those feelings. Give yourself a break for feeling those things. Go and do something else. Yeah, so hard some days. I get that, Ashley. Absolutely. Sometimes it doesn't feel very nice. Go and do something to help you move through that anxiety. It will pass. Don't try and squash those feelings, because they'll manifest in another way and they'll come back and bite you in the backside, bigger than they were before. As the saying goes, those feelings are allowed to come and visit, but don't let them unpack a bag and move in. We've just got to allow them to move through. And it's like they might be around longer some days than they are on other days. That's just how it is. What do you need when you get to that point? What will help you move through it? Develop a little bit of a plan. Okay, when I get anxious, this is my default. This is what I'm going to go and do. This is how I'm going to deal with it, and it'll be different for everyone. For me, I've got to go and sometimes just sit on the lounge and put Reno programs on, which I love watching and getting inspiration from that. Sometimes that's all I need. Sometimes I'll go and cook. Sometimes I'll read a book. Sometimes I'll go and lay on the grass and just listen to the beautiful birds in the trees surrounding our house, Sometimes I just sit in absolute silence. Sometimes I'm popping you in my toolbox and shutting the lid. Negative feelings. Yeah, totally. Hard feelings are part of me, but they do not define me. Exactly right, Katrina. So true. So come up with a bit of a plan for yourself. How do you move through those anxious feelings and get to the other side of it? Thinking that in 3 months it is going to still be an issue. Yeah, maybe. It gets back to giving yourself permission. Totally. Absolutely. So as an activity for that one, maybe write a list of the things that you can do. I've got my list in front of me all the time, and some of them are bigger things on there. Like I've got painting our front room. Hubby and I have been doing a little bit of renovating, and I want to paint the front lounge room. May not get to that, and that's totally fine if I don't, or that one might take a couple of days. That's all good. Struggling to be still and not feel guilty even though I'm on school holidays. Yeah, I understand. Me too. Yep. But you're totally worth it, aren't you, Shez? It's totally okay if you want to sit still and do absolutely nothing. There's nothing wrong with that. That's totally fine. On to our last topic, permission to thrive. Give yourself permission to thrive. This is an amazing opportunity we have now. There is so much change that is going to come out of this situation that we're in. Yes, I know some of you have lost your jobs and you don't know what this all means yet. So maybe this is a real opportunity for you to really not be focusing on what's all the noise and all the stuff, all the external stuff that's going on. This is a great opportunity to tune out to that. Yes, we need to be aware of what's going on, but you can choose how much you are exposing yourself to. Maybe this is a great opportunity to go within, and it might not be a time to do a huge amount of, personal work that can be absolutely overwhelming. I totally get that too. It's got to be good timing. Tracy, I journal every day. Yep, perfect. It works for me. Absolutely. So give yourself permission to thrive. Own who you are. Own who you are right now. And who you are right now is enough. And who you are right now is helping you step towards who you are going to be and what you are going to achieve. And maybe it's time to learn something new. Maybe it's time to... Have you always wanted to do a new hobby that you've never had time to do? Maybe it's time to start doing some research about that or setting yourself up. Own your contrast. At the moment, there's maybe, new emotions and behaviours that we wouldn't normally demonstrate or experience, and just own it. Own it. Who you are right now is enough. I am an absolute goddess of contrast. I can be fierce and I can be kind. I can be fragile and I can be strong and resilient. I can drive to work some days and listen to ABC Classic FM because I love classical music. The next day I might be listening to our local dance music radio station and turn it up full blast, really loud. And I know that when people pull up next to me in the lights, they can hear my car going doof, doof, doof. But I love loud music. It depends on the day. Yes, Katrina, you are enough. Absolutely. Can you, rather than focusing on all of the stuff that's going on at the moment, can you sit and think about what might come for you after? Who you were yesterday is not who you are today, nor who you will be tomorrow. Yeah, absolutely, Shannon. Totally agree. And Julian, yeah, give yourself permission. Absolutely, give yourself permission to thrive. Give yourself permission to own who you are right now, and know that that's just a part helping you become who you're going to be. So own your contrast, own who you are, ditch the guilt. It is not serving you. It is not serving anybody else. Ditch the guilt. Guilt is irrelevant. It is just an emotion. It's irrelevant. You don't need to give it any more energy. Where are you focusing your energy? What are you focusing on? What are you visualizing for your future? What can you see that may be coming for you? What opportunities can you see in all of this that's going on? Yeah, it's totally me. What opportunities can you see in everything that's going on at the moment? And they may be small, you might not be able to see them amongst all the noise, but if you get still and you get quiet and allow yourself to just stop and just listen to what might come your way, this is going to make us all stronger and more resilient. Yeah, absolutely, Jody, completely. So yeah, ditch the guilt. What can you visualize? What are you focusing your energy on? What do you want? Do you want to sit in everything that is going on right now, that you could sit and look at all the negatives? Or do you want to be sitting over here and looking forward and thinking about what might come after? What are the good things that may come from this? You've been in my head today. Nice one, Amy Lee. When I was 16 years old and I was standing at the end of my mother's bed when she was dying, and I had a moment where I was just standing at the end of her bed and I was watching her breathe, because she was really labouring with her breathing. And she said two things to me, and one of them was be brave for Dad, and the other one was take every opportunity you get. And since I was 16 years old, I have lived like that. I have said yes to pretty much everything, and there's been some times that I have absolutely failed, and there have been some times where I've absolutely nailed it. All of it is perfectly okay. All of it makes me who I am. All of it contributes to the next steps that I take, and I give myself permission to thrive. I actually feel really quite excited by all of this at the moment, and I actually really secretly enjoy the fact that I have to stay home and I'm not allowed to see anyone and I can live a quiet life and think about all the possibilities of what is to come. Thank you, Jody. Yeah, beautiful words from my mum. Yeah, absolutely. They were, long-lasting life advice. So, see the opportunity that could be waiting here for you. You might not even be aware of it yet. But if you are putting your well-being first, if you are putting yourself first, if you are giving yourself permission to set boundaries, if you are giving yourself permission to surrender and let go and listen to what comes from in here and your inspiration that you might not have yet allowed, then give yourself permission to thrive, because this is an incredible adventure that in several months or maybe even several years' time, you are going to sit back and say, wow, that year, 2020, changed my life. Who would ever have thought that this could have come out of all of that? So you just never know. Oh, thanks, Katrina. Thank you. So that is it from me. That's the 4 things. Give yourself permission to put your well-being first. Give yourself permission to set boundaries. Give yourself permission to surrender and let go. And give yourself permission to thrive. Write yourself a self-care plan. Be the observer of your emotions and reactions and behaviours, and write down some notes. And write down a list of things that you can do at the moment, and, perhaps do what some of us are doing and write a list of things that you can do around the house, and then give yourself permission to thrive. And maybe as an activity for that, you can write yourself a letter from your future self. So maybe date it for a year's time. maybe date it for 2 years' time. Who do you envisage that you can be in that year's time? And put it away in your diary and don't open it until that date in a year's time, whenever it was. So that's my bit for tonight. Thanks so much for jumping on board. I'm sorry if I've missed any of your comments. I will go back through them over the course of the evening and maybe tomorrow morning as well. I'm glad you got some value out of it. Thank you. See, Cuz, thanks, guys. Oh, you always remember me in my blue wig. Yeah. My beautiful bestie, who is over in Perth, when I was bald, sent me a long blue wig. So, you know, out of adversity can come lots of really small magical moments. Love you guys. So thank you so much. Big love to everyone. Please take care of yourself and put yourself first. And I'd love to hear where you all are in another few months' time and hearing how you are thriving. So take care, and I'll see you soon. See ya.